deal with airplane peanuts.
When it became like nothing fails,
Hysteria.
I could have started taking huge checks from big promoting companies, but I was interested in like Ticketmaster has all the emails. Those are the Glengarry leads. But if I make a website and sell directly to people and I make a connection with the fans, and $5 was this like crisp little number, and then I got your email. So I got this little list that started growing, and that saved my life because that's who I go to now.
A comedian collecting emails might sound simple, but this small idea not only helped save Louis C.K.'s entire career in 2017, but also turned out to be one of the smartest business moves in comedy history, and has allowed Louis C.K. to operate as an independent force at all times in an industry where that was unheard of.
You go independent. A lot of us went independent because we didn't have the opportunity to do these things, right? You chose to go independent. Why? I never understood it. I imagine everybody's like begging you to produce shows. They're going, please, can you write a show, Louis? Oh my God, can you make this movie? Can you do whatever you want?
Well, it always seemed like the smart thing to do to me because, it felt good. I liked the way it felt more than anything else. Because you see so much waste in the way things are done.
Yeah.
There's certain guys I really admire, like John Waters, who wanted to make movies, had no way. He lived in Baltimore, but he thought straight lines. He didn't go like, somehow, someday they'll discover me. He just went to a movie theater and asked them, who decides what gets projected on that screen? Very basic. And they said, well, we get him from the studios. And he goes, and he sees that there's shows till 9, 10 p.m. He goes, do you have a midnight show? And the theater goes, why would we do that? And he goes, let me have the room at midnight. I'll pay you rent. And then he goes with a shit camera and really poured a lot of work into and made his movies about his community and give out flyers and pack those places.
Yeah.
It was
Dolomite.
a huge thing. So I didn't do that ground up like these guys did. I came up through the industry, comedy club, hammering at comedy clubs. Then I went to television, learned how to write TV, and tried having my own show in different places and stuff. All of that upstream battle is not much you can do except keep trying and try. You don't have any control over how you do it. But when I got to be big, when I got to the place where I'm like, if I put something on sale, it sells out. It's guaranteed, right? When you get to that place, that when your show is announced and where I was at a point where it's like any building on earth will take my engagement. I can book it. And if I announce it, it will sell out. What do you do with that power? What do you do with that? So you can go to the big companies and say, write me a huge check because of the power that I have. But to me, it was far more interesting to figure out, who are these guys? Who books this place? How does this happen? And wonder if I can do some version of it myself. And also, if Ticketmaster and Live Nation sell your tickets for you, they get those emails, they get those contacts, they have control over your audience. I have an email list that's people that have been coming to my live shows and buying my specials since way back.
It's not just owning an email list that Louis C.K. did first. As many of you know, over the past few years, Netflix has been attempting to corner the market on live streaming stand-up ever since their first attempt with Chris Rock on March 4th, 2023. But Louis C.K.'s most recent special was live streamed from Madison Square Garden 35 days before Netflix pulled off Selective Outrage. And Louis C.K. not only beat Netflix to the punch, but he also managed to improve on the entire concept in the process.
So it's going to be on January 28th, and I hadn't been back to the Garden, but I want to do it one more time. I'm not going to do it again after this, I don't think. I think this is my last time doing something that big, because I want it to be special, because it's, I just want to go back one more time, and it's in the round, so the audience is all around me, and it's going to be live streaming on my website, so you can watch it live on my website, like a fight.
The cameras that will be shooting this in the round will be going straight to your website.
Straight to the website, and you can watch it live, or you can watch it for like another 10 days. I'll leave it up for like 10 days, and then I'm taking it down. It's just like a live event thing. And then I'll have a special of the same material that I'm actually shooting this weekend at the Dolby in LA, where they do the Oscars.
Removing the live stream after 10 days, then releasing a polished, permanent version created the traditional way specials are made by using the best footage from multiple tapings of the same show is without a doubt an evolved version of the current Netflix model, with their live events being uploaded raw the next day with minimal edits. And speaking of ways to improve live events, it's time to hear a real quick word from the sponsor of this video. video. Week 2 of the NFL is here, and Underdog is also here to make things even more exciting. Join the millions of fans that played on Underdog last year. With their pick'em games, you could win up to 1,000 times your money by making picks on your favorite players and choosing higher or lower on their stats, like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and much more. You can make entries of all NFL picks or mix and match your other favorite sports, and Underdog is available in 30+ states, including California, Florida, and Texas. For week 2, I'm going higher on Derrick Henry and Kyler Murray touchdowns, and higher on Caleb Williams picks. You can pair my picks with this CeeDee Lamb free pick, where all he needs is 1 yard. Underdog is dropping a promo every day in September, so keep an eye on your lobby, and if you haven't signed up yet, use code JOKEWORLD to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a free pick. That's code JOKEWORLD, JOKWRLD. Now back to the video. And as if Louis CK wasn't already doing enough to beat these massive streamers on his own, the comedian also negotiated new licensing rights to buy back his own show from FX in order to host all 5 seasons of Louis exclusively on his own website.
How the did you get? I remember when I think you sent this email out that like FX, your series is on. I'm like, how do you get your series from FX?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't think anybody's done that.
No.
Really. Well, FX took my series off. I don't know why.
What the fuck?
It's so weird. It was really successful.
Yeah.
And then they just made an arbitrary decision.
That's weird.
To just, I mean, I was baffled. I was like, guys, why? We're like, it's just a feeling we have. I was like, that's weird, guys.
Probably
like
a new CEO. They always do shit like that.
That's the thing. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
There wasn't one, but maybe it's something like that. I wanted people to see the show. You were able to go on iTunes or Amazon and buy episodes, like single episodes, but it wasn't streaming anywhere, and it also wasn't being sort of amplified and like celebrated anywhere. So I went to FX and said, hey, let me have it. And it was a hard deal to make because it belongs to Disney now. It's Buena Vista Video.
Right.
And Disney owns Fox. It's a whole new world. Basically, they made me a vendor like anybody else, and that was I also couldn't do what they needed for security and for like the level that they need to have. My website isn't a huge platform.
Right.
So it took a few years of kind of figuring that out.
Working this out?
Yeah, and also talking to FX, and finally there sort of was somebody. I mean, I'm very grateful to FX because they just pushed it through to where, I hope it's all right that I'm saying that, but to the point where I got a decent. They just let me rent it. Like I own it for 2 years. I license it. Mm-hmm. You can only stream it. I can't do downloads like I do with other stuff.
Yeah.
That way I was able to set a price because I had to be competitive with the other guys. I couldn't undercut. So they took it off Amazon, off iTunes. You can't get anywhere else.
Oh.
And because I was able to do that, I could do what I really wanted, was to charge it's $30. You get the whole 5 seasons.
Oh.
You get the entire series, which I think is good.
That's good. Yeah.
And people are used to paying nothing because they stream, but my website is a pay or play thing. So.
Yeah.
And you can stream it. You can't download it, but the stream lasts for like 5 years from when you buy it.
Oh,
so
amazing.
Yeah, and you can buy one season for like $10.
Or the whole thing.
The whole thing for $30. And I just love having it on my website. I love having it there. I love that that's where you can get it. And it's going out. People are buying it. It's fun.
From the OG $5 special to the live stream from MSG, Louis CK taking an independent route has allowed for the creation of one of the most historic careers in comedy and entertainment in general. And after decades of reinvesting into this blueprint, Louis has inspired dozens of today's best comedians to follow in his footsteps and bet on themselves rather than relying on the industry. But since not many other comedians share Louis's insane pipeline directly to thousands of fans, one of the main places comics have been able to execute their version of Louis's independent model has been right here on YouTube.
When you do it yourself, you don't get new fans. That's the thing. I mean, unless you reach out and do a lot of promotion, which you can do.
Right.
But mostly you just get the amount of people you already had. So for climbing new comics, they're better off going to platforms and trying to get,
Right.
trying to get attention, trying to get draw people in. Or YouTube for free. That seems to work for a lot of these young guys.
Yeah.
However, the constant looming threat of censorship and the success of every post being heavily influenced by an algorithm has even made YouTube an unreliable choice. To counter this, a decent amount of New York's finest comedians have started to upload on a website called punchuplive.com, which is a growing social media platform in the comedy space that is used by the likes of Mark Normand, Sam Morril, Jordan Jensen, Dan Soder, and more to help independently release content without restrictions. As you can tell by the list of names, Punch Up has already been making major headway in the comedy world, but the ultimate nod of validation came last weekend, when it was announced that the king of independent comedy himself, Louis C.K., would be joining Punch Up Live, which was a shocking deal that we had to hear more about directly from the CEO and co-owner of the website.
I'm Danny Frankel. I'm the CEO at PunchUp.
I'm Alex Dejani. I'm the CTO at PunchUp.
PunchUp is, on the simplest level, a place for comedy fans to be able to come, watch content, and buy tickets. But a little bit deeper, what it is actually an attempt to create a new model for a business on the internet. Currently, there are two established models. The first model is if you are going to go watch content on a site, you can pay for that content. And the upside is obviously that's a direct connection with the person creating the content. The downside is that you then have to pay money to be able to watch that content. The second model is what you see with most of the social media companies, which is kind of this old adage that if you're not buying something, then you are the product. And what that really means is that they are making a lot of money from advertising that they put on the site based on stuff that you are watching. And the problem that we're seeing right now in comedy with this specifically is that it creates these weird incentives where they only want to show content that advertisers want to be seen next to. So we're trying to create this new model where we are still enabling a lot of content to be consumed for free, but rather than helping advertisers build their businesses, we want to help, in this case, comedians build their business by selling more tickets. So on our site, you can come watch content for free. In some instances, you can buy content, like our old Page to Stage episode that you were very generous in terms of helping us talk about. All of that ends up helping the comedians understand where they should go tour and how their ticket sales are progressing, and in the long run, help them sell more tickets. We're trying to develop a platform that allows them to operate as the type of artist that they want to be. So from our perspective, the better the content that you're putting out, the more people are going to want to sign up for your mailing list to then get access to that content. But we've never told anybody, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's entirely up to them, because at the end of the day, like, we don't want to be giving them notes. Like, I tried comedy a few times and I sucked. So who am I to tell anybody what they should be posting, what type of language they should be using, or what topics they should be covering?
There's actually, in a way, kind of already a fragmentation of where people tend to build their audience. So, I mean, somebody like Mark Normand or Louis C.K. all have their own individualized websites, and they sort of just exist as this like floating node out in space where they get access to emails and fans directly. And then on the other side, as Danny was pointing out, right, you have social media where people don't really have that direct access, but they have the benefits of, you know, these large network effects where somebody can come and discover you. Fundamentally, we really just want to combine those two things and, you know, kind of answer this question of like, well, why can't you actually have both, right? Why can't you be part of a network where everybody gets the benefit from everybody else, but also get direct access to your fans' information, to their emails, because they're there to see you, and ostensibly, like, they also want to see other comics.
The way that we see it is this is real validation of exactly the point that Alex was just mentioning. Louis pioneered a lot of this. I remember when Louis put his first special out for $5, and in some ways I've kind of been thinking about this ever since then. I literally like was talking with a friend and have this whole document laid out of like, I wonder how other comedians could be doing this. In some ways, the aha moment that we had was very few other comedians could be doing what Louis did, because you needed to have a fan base as large as Louis's to be able to actually make any meaningful money. Anybody can theoretically create a website and say, hey, it's $5 for my special. But, you know, me and the other open micer folks would get no one to actually buy it. And so, exactly to Alex's point, we created this network so that theoretically everybody who has a following can kind of pool it all together. So you don't have to be selling out Madison Square Garden to be able to, whether it is monetized, but also just get more people signing up for your mailing list. And so the thing that Louis signifies to me is real validation of the value of that network, right? Louis has had his own independent site for a really long time, and now he wants to participate in a larger network. I think both from an ethos perspective, but also from a business value perspective, he's going to have access to a new pool of fans who aren't necessarily seeing his posts on Instagram or going directly to his website to check out anytime he's releasing any new content on his site. So for us, it's kind of this full circle moment that we're really excited about, because obviously he's the guy that started a lot of this independent movement. Pretty similar to the expectations on the comedian side. It's a little bit of a choose your own destiny. So we have content that is for sale, like Mark Norman's Page to Stage, and we have some subscription content similar to a Patreon model, like with Joe List. But for the most part, I'd say 99% of the content on the site is completely free. And the only ask is that you sign up for a comedian's mailing list that you want to follow. The idea is that, as opposed to on Instagram, where someone might follow your profile, but it doesn't allow them to ever actually reliably reach you again, here, by signing up for a comedian's mailing list, they're able to reach out to you and let you know when they're coming to town or when they have something new released that they want you to be aware of. It's a much more durable and, I guess, equitable exchange between the two parties. So we really just want people to come, watch a whole bunch of fun content, and then over the long term get to go see comics live that they're interested in.
I will just say that we love hearing from fans. I've had some of my most meaningful conversations just hopping on a Zoom call, kind of like this, with other comedy fans. I think the biggest shock to me was actually when we created this platform, but there are real people out there who are really, really, really passionate about comedy on a way that, on a level that I didn't even appreciate as somebody that loves watching comedy myself. So anybody that's new to the platform, please reach out to us. If you have any thoughts or ideas, we're always open to hearing about them.
I think we both just want to give a heartfelt thank you. We're having the most fun imaginable building this thing out. Every day is the shit. We get to go talk to comedians that we deeply admire, and we do get to hear from a lot of people who are using the platform and really enjoy it. So genuinely, just on a personal level, thank you. We really hope to be able to do this forever.
If you want to hear more about Punch Up Live and Mark Norman's Page to Stage project, feel free to check out our latest interview with the Joke Machine after these upcoming segments. Guest spots from last week: The Joe Rogan Experience sat down with Mike Baker, Bilal Muhammad, Brett Weinstein, and Chris Harris. Shane Gillis was on You Be Trippin'. Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast was joined by War Mode. Kumal Nanjiani was on Whiskey Ginger. Are You Garbage welcomed Chris DiStefano and Mateo Lane, Joe List, and Ian Fidance. Ian also made an appearance on the Duncan Trussell Family Hour and dropped by the Legion of Skanks with Jordan Jensen. Bill Burr dropped by for a surprise appearance on Bad Friends. Ali Sadiq came all over your mom's house. Toby McMullen was on Dad Meat. Cam Patterson visited Rough Week. Ron White filled in for Bert on Two Bears, One Cave. Haley Joel Osment was on Tiger Belly. Jason Ellis was on The Honeydew, and Matt Rife made his debut appearance on Kill Tony.
How was Chicago for real?
Chicago was actually pretty cool. The bean was stupid. That was dumb as hell. That's the dumbest shit ever. Let's make a mirror look like a bean. They're gonna love it. That's dumb as I hated that. That was stupid.
What was?
The bean. The bean.
Big metallic Terminator thing, glob in the middle of downtown.
Bean? Yeah, they got a fucking bean.
There's a giant bean in downtown Chicago?
Yeah.
It's all mirrors.
You've never heard of the bean?
You all have heard of this?
Yeah.
What the f are you guys?
You've never seen that?
No! What the f is going on?
It's the arch, man. It's the same.
You gotta be f***ing kidding me. I've never heard of this or seen it or referenced it or anything. D Madness is laughing at me. How the f have you seen the bean?
Post Malone and Bobby Lee were both on This Past Weekend with Theo Von. Sean Patton was on Stuff Island. Johnny Pemberton took his shoes off with Rick Glassman. Story Wars included Karen Feehan, Pauly Shore, and Salvo Cano. Neil Brennan invited Greg Fitzsimmons to the Blocks podcast. Tom Takar made an appearance on Stavi's World. Brendan Sagalow was on The Adam Friedland Show. Dan Soder was on Sag Daddy DePod. Ari Maddie stopped by The Solid Show with Derek and Hassan. Burbs Bros debuted with Dan St. Germain and Sean Donnelly. Greg Stone caught up with Soder. Natasha Leggero made it weird with Pete Holmes. Dave Attell joined B&E with Jordan. And Dusty Slay sat in the Wayback with Ryan Sickler. As far as new stand-up comedy specials that are either out right now or coming out soon, Greg Fitzsimmons' You Know Me is out right now on YouTube and was filmed at the Comedy Mothership. Other new specials out right now on YouTube include Colin Quinn, Red State Blue State, Toby McMullen live from the Aladdin Theater, Brendan Sagalow Thin Lips, Curtis Connor Python, Josh Denny Goliath, and Sarah Tolome Butthole Money. And out on Netflix Netflix is Adam Sandler Love You, and Matt Rife's crowdwork special Lucid. There's also a few specials in the works right now that will be coming out soon. On September 15th, Mike Cannon has a new special coming out on the Chris DiStefano YouTube channel titled Traumatized Animal. 2 days after that, on September 17th, Dion Cole OK Mister premieres on Netflix. And also coming out on Netflix this fall is Ellen DeGeneres For Your Approval, Ali Wong Single Lady, Hassan Minaj Off With His Head, and Tom Papa Home Free. But other than that, if you're not busy after this, feel free to check out our video we just released on our second channel, Clip World, all about Post Malone's rise to becoming comedy's most famous fan, if you also like Post Malone and comedy. I think that's kind of a fun crossover. But also, as always, keep a lookout for more videos coming out on this channel, Joke World. It was a very busy month of August. We moved across the country, things were in disarray, but we're finally back in the saddle and should have plenty more content coming out in September. But speaking of what month it is, the best of August is up right now, and it's almost an hour long.
At Joke World. That's it, at Joke World.
And the world is WRLD.
That's a great YouTube channel, Joke World. Check it out.